I always think about Alex Rampell at Andreessen, who said the question in company building is, will the incumbent acquire innovation before the startup acquires distribution? And you mentioned adoption there. And it leads me to think about who gains from this next wave most predominantly. And my thinking more and more is incumbents who are fast moving, like Microsoft, who are incorporating, it into PowerPoint, like Adobe, who are incorporating it into all of their suite of products. They will take 90% of the gains, actually, because they have the distribution and they're moving fast. Do you agree, or do you think actually startups are the ones who will accrue the most value in this next generation?
It's a bit related to what we talked about before. I think if you're thinking about AI as AI APIs, I agree with your analysis. If you're thinking of AI as a more radical paradigm switch to build technology, right? And if you think about an AI startup as a company that is actually training models, creating new architectures, optimizing models themselves, I think it's a different story because this is really hard to do for the incumbents. And so I think the new startups have kind of like an opportunity there to do things 10 times, 50 times, 100 times better than the incumbents.
Why is it hard to do for the incumbents? Sorry, I'm naive here. Why is that difficult for them to do?
Because it's a completely different way to build technology, right? It's a way where you have to have scientists, for example, working for 6 months on a new architecture, on a new model before releasing it. So it's a different paradigm of how you build software, and it's different enough, in my experience, that it's hard to do for like bigger teams and bigger companies that are moving slower and that have started with like a very different paradigm. At least that's what I'm kind of like seeing on the field. It's hard to predict the future again, but I think there are many opportunities for really AI first startups, and really startups who are not just using AI with APIs, but really building AI themselves, building new architecture, building new models, optimizing their own models.
What are the biggest challenges or barriers those AI first startups face? Is it data model access? Is it hiring? Is it, you name many of the challenges? What's the biggest challenge you think this next generation of AI first companies face?
I would say hiring probably right now, like getting like the best people and getting kind of like this hybrid kind of like profile, because it's science plus engineering. I would say right now, like hiring and getting the right set of co-founders, early team members is the hardest thing,
Totally get
especially
you.
because there's a lot of competition with also others. Companies have raised so much money that, like for the really good people, the salaries are kind of like insane. So that's, in my opinion, the biggest thing.